happy November? That just does not sound right. Luckily for me, while I'm filming this, it is still very much October, but just thinking about the fact that I will be uploading this and people will be watching it on November 1st, and that's only like days away, is frightening. But it's Halloween, so I guess it's appropriate. It's actually not quite Halloween, but I do have Frankie with me drinking some coffee this morning, some much needed coffee this morning. And it's also a gloomy, rainy day here in New York City, and it's fitting the vibes well. So if you've been here before on this Plan With Me adventure, then welcome back. If you're new here, then welcome. Happy to have you here. My name is Sarah. I'm actually saying that intentionally once at the beginning of the video because I normally forget to say that. But welcome to my monthly Plan With Me. This is something that I've been doing for a couple of months now, I think since the summer. I hate to be another person that just raves about planning and setting goals and Notion and things like that, but like, bitch, it works. But it's like the motivation side of things, the reset of it all is just so grounding and feels so nice. You know, whether I was doing this for YouTube content or not, it's something that I would be doing. I'm also a health and wellness coach, so I always like to add details about that into these videos just for further context of the fact that I want to be walking the walk and talking the talk, and who am I to be telling other people to track their behaviors and set goals and work on like continuous self-improvement if I'm not doing that myself. So that is also why I'm here. I want some accountability for my own personal progress. So if you read the title or the thumbnail or however I designed this upload, if you read something, you know that my Notion has gotten a little bit of a facelift since we last talked. So I'm going to spend most of this video just kind of, we're definitely gonna like do some planning and stuff, but I also just want to show you around to see what I'm working with. It's still a work in progress, but I'm feeling a lot more in my Notion groove than I was definitely since the first time I used Notion. Oh god, that was awful. But even since last month, because in previous Plan With Me's, I'd kind of be all over the place. I would go through my Notion, sometimes I'd go through my journal, I would go through my wall calendar, I would go through my like daily planner and habit tracker on my iPad, and I still be using all these different things, but just for the purpose of knowing that my Plan With Me's are already kind of long, I'm just gonna stick with Notion and show you what's up with there, but know that I'm still daily planning and doing my habits just like I've always been. So I got my Notion up on my computer and we are ready to go. I have since also downloaded Notion both on my phone and onto my iPad, which has been a total game changer and allows me to use Notion a lot more, especially on my phone, because I think, as I've probably said in multiple videos, I have so many notes on my notes app full of just like random shit, and I'm finally starting to put all of those important things into Notion. That way it's all in one place. But okay, first things first, I have for you my dashboard. It isn't all that different from before, but it is looking a lot more organized. Something new that I'm doing with Notion is trying out new features. I'll provide links down below for all the people that I have grabbed, not even just inspiration from, because with the exception of like a couple of pages, I have used templates that other creators have posted for free and have adjusted them a little bit to make them my own. So it is a mix of some things that I did on my own and then inspiration and pages and things that I've taken from others. And I want to give credit where credit is due because they're making my life so much easier, and it's also just helped me learn more about Notion and all the different features, because like up until now, this list feature, did not know she exists or really how to use it, as well as a couple of other different things. So this is very exciting. But okay, the dashboard is pretty much where I want it to be. It is very minimalistic, which is what I wanted. Would I mind some additional features? I could see myself maybe putting a picture in here for motivation or something else, some other imagery. The calendar is new, that wasn't here before. And I mean, like, I have calendars literally like everywhere, so it wasn't really necessary. I could just make it purple and it matched. So now I have a calendar. But otherwise, these were all features of my Notion before. On my front page, I had my weekly to-do list. I had things for personal planning, which kind of housed my like personal monthly goals, long-term goals, things like that. And then I had a section at the bottom of my old Notion for all my social media stuff, for content ideas, my calendar, tracking. So now I have everything in these drop-down menus. So definitely we'll be living most of our time today in the personal planning sections and social media, but just very quickly, why don't we create a weekly to-do list? Because I have yet to do that. We can also check in with if I did all the things I was supposed to last week. I'm filming my November Plan With Me right now, so we can cross that off. 2 spin classes, y'all. We will get into the spin class a scandal, basically, is what it is, because I'm just constantly lying about my progress with that. I didn't take 2 spin classes, but I took 1 class yesterday, so if I could half mark that one off, I would. Call my doctor. I did not do that. Let's go ahead and make a new weekly to-do list. So the creator, I'm not remembering her name off the top of my head right now, but the creator who inspired me for kind of how I set up my dashboard with these drop-down menus. She had to do archives, or she kept archives for kind of her monthly goals and things like that, which is something I enjoy having, because as you'll see when we get to monthly goals, like if you watch my previous plan with me's, I would kind of just like duplicate pages for my monthly goals instead of getting rid of them, how I'm about to get rid of like my weekly to-do list. Just because I wanted to be able to go back and check on things maybe one day. I mean, I haven't yet, but maybe one day. But it did look a little messy with just like having all the different pages there, like June, July, August. So having an archive will be nice. I did include one for the weekly to-do list section just to be able to like drag and drop things. Honestly, for the to-do list, I might end up deleting it because I could fully just like delete everything and I don't really need to go back and see what my weekly to-do lists were. And also I'm gonna get rid of that because certain things I just do every week, like meal plan, groceries, laundry, vacuum. Well, I don't do that every week, but most weeks. I'm gonna keep these things on here, so I'm just gonna uncheck them. Okay, so what is Monday? Monday will be the 30th. Oh, it's almost Halloween. I am so excited. So October 30th through November 5th. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these are kind of the usual suspects for my weekly to-do list. Some other things that I know I need to do or should do other than call my doctor because my prescription got a little messy. I need to clean my makeup brushes. I try to do that as regularly as I can. I know I'm probably not great at it, but I also know that there are people who are probably a lot worse at it than I am. I need to water my plants. I feel like it's been a second since I've done that. I'd also like to bake this week. I've been better about baking than I had been. One of the last bake with me's I had filmed was like the first time I baked something other than sourdough in a pretty long time. I have kept up with it, and I was gonna bake yesterday, but then I realized I was so confident I had all the ingredients to make cookies, and then I absolutely just did not, and I wasn't about to go to the store again. So I didn't end up doing that, so maybe I can make some like pumpkin cookies this week. That would be really nice. I'm going to need to update my November wall calendar. I know you can't see it, just know that I have a wall monthly calendar on my wall that I use to track me and my partner's like job hours, when we're working, when we're not working, when we have time off together, all those different things. So I need to update that for November. And last thing I'm thinking of is I need to film something this weekend. Yeah, I'm not sure what yet, but I need to film a video that will go up for next week, and Saturday is gonna be my opportunity to do that. So we will figure that out. Maybe we'll make a plan for it in this video. Who knows? Okay, so weekly to-do list done. We're gonna go ahead and look around to see what's changed with personal planning. I did these yesterday. I made the icons all the little like open hearts. I don't know why. I think this is just so cute. I was very proud of it because at first, like on the social media one, I still have just like icons that kind of represent what that thing is. I don't know, I like the appearance of it how it is right now. So within this personal planning section is where I'm just like, I don't know, housing anything that doesn't have to do with social media, because I do like to separate those things in terms of like monthly goals for myself, monthly goals for social media. So just to give you a quick tour of what is in this section, like I said, we have my monthly goals, which we'll go into in a second. 2024 goals is a page that I inserted from one of the creators that shared their templates. It is still very much like what her template was. I haven't done anything for it because 2024 isn't here yet. I feel silly like making something for 2023 since the year is almost over. And I do want to kind of redo the look of what the template currently is, if that makes sense. Like I want to take inspiration from it, but I also want to make it my own, and I just don't know what that is yet. So we'll get there one day. Probably by, I guess, like the December plan with me, or sorry, the January plan with me. We can look at that together. Long-term goals is a section that I had before, and I'm still kind of contemplating of whether, I guess long-term goals can be its own separate thing from 2024 goals. That's not to say that like in 2024 I won't accomplish some of my long-term goals, but I think some of the long-term goals I have are just like maybe general, don't represent like any sort of specific year and could happen at any point. So I think it's good to have two separate ones. Meal planning, this is a new page, I think, right? Yeah, so I used to do like all of my meal planning and grocery list in a notes app on my phone, and that was just getting to be too much of a hot mess. So I'm excited to show you that one. And then the last 3 down here were also just things I had in my notes app that like I just needed to put all in one place. So we will get into it, but let's go into monthly goals to get started. So this is a new feature that I still don't really know how it works, other than it works in this template. So right now you can see I have my October goals here, and after I'll go through these and tell you what all I did, what I'm still working on, whatever. When we go to make a new month, we can click a button and it just populates a new month, and then you can move the current month into the archive. And I don't know, it's a feature I don't quite understand, but I'm excited for it. Maybe one day I'll learn about it more and I can actually speak to it in a more intelligent manner than I am right now. Okay, October 2023 goals. Here's my little jack-o'-lantern. Oh my gosh, I did not get to carve a pumpkin yet. I mean, it's not too late, I suppose, but it's a little upsetting. I was hoping to have carved a pumpkin by now. Some things that I did do, visit Hudson Valley. I was talking about that in my last video, just, you know, how my partner and I have like a real affinity for some of the areas up there. We did get to go do that. We hit up like all of our favorite breweries, some of our favorite restaurants, some of the places we like to go. We actually didn't get to do everything, so we love to plan another trip before I get rid of my car, because having a car in New York City is getting to be a little too expensive. So I'll likely be getting rid of my car soon, so we need to go up and do everything we wanted to do before I get rid of that. Get back into Etsy. You know, I'm gonna check it off. I think it's kind of a cop-out, but I was talking about my last video how I have 2 different Etsys that I was really into before I got my full-time job. One was for like making calendars and to-do lists and meal plans and all that type of like organizational stuff. The other one was like my baking accessories, gifts, small business, where I did like t-shirts and stuff like that. Both of which I hadn't really had time to pick up. I really want to get back into it. And I'm crossing this off because there's a business who I made custom like 12-month editable calendars for last year. They reached out to me again this year. So last week I made those, which was, in my opinion, does count as getting back into Etsy in a way. I mean, I like worked on something that I sold and I did sell it, and you know, we're just gonna go with it, okay? I got back into Etsy, but I definitely need to do a lot more. Okay, so finish one book. I just need to like, I feel like anytime I talk about books, I get so excited to finish them / start them, and then I just jinx myself because guess what? I haven't finished the same book that I've been working on for the past 2 months. So can't cross that off yet, but I have been reading a lot more. I've been reading both the book that I've been reading for fun, I forget what it is, and then also trying to reread Atomic Habits because it's been a minute and I need to get back into that. So I have been reading more, I just haven't finished. Find a new journal, I also have not done that. I actually really need to do that. I really should just be like writing things down. I'm talking so much about how I want to get back into journaling and find a journal that suits me, and if not like finding a journal, like creating my own journal like sheet with prompts that I will feel good about like filling out every single day. But like I need to take the time to be able to either find that thing or make that thing. But in the meantime, like there is no harm in me just like picking up some pen and paper or even on my iPad and just like writing things out, because I know how good it would be. Clean out clothes to donate. I actually did that last night. My closet was looking atrocious and everything was just a hot mess. So I'm gonna see if my mom wants any of my stuff, and whatever she doesn't want, I'm going to donate to either ThredUp if it's something I think can make some money, or I'll just take it to Goodwill next time I'm in Delaware. Update Notion. I did this, but differently than I thought I was going to. I'm trying to think when I implemented these new Notion pages. It was probably like a week or so after I did my October plan with me. And back then I had like really no intention of making all the changes that I did. It just kind of happened. So I'm gonna check this off, but I didn't necessarily, I mean, like I created pages for my bucket list. I created a page for things to buy. I still need to fix them up so they look better, but they are now in my Notion at least. Monthly vibe and intention, I haven't really done, but I'm working on that. The journal, I put journal question marks. I wasn't sure if I'd be putting my journal in my Notion. I don't think I'm going to, so I'm just gonna get rid of that, pretend like it never existed from the beginning. And here we go with the spin thing. Look, I did this one. I did one class the week of the 23rd, and that was my first class in, what, like 3 months at this point or something? Like, that is ridiculous, and it felt so good to do it. I like to think now that I've gotten the one out of the way, I am back on track with it. I don't know, it's always so interesting. Like, I know this is a very common thing, but it's like my relationship and motivation for being physically active outside of just like regular daily movement just ebbs and flows so much, and I really admire the people that are able to do it and stick with it for long periods of, or just kind of like indefinitely, right? I'm grateful that I live in New York, so like I am walking around a lot more. Not to say that I'm getting like 10,000 steps every single day, because I'm not, but I am moving around more than if I still lived in Delaware. But like, damn bro, it'd be rough sometimes. Okay, car, and yeah, haven't repurchased my car subscription, haven't found a dental surgeon, though the dentist did call me recently, so I should probably go back to them. So now I'm gonna show you what I mean when we go to create a new month. So I can click this new month button, and wha-bam, we got a new month now. How fun is that? So this is going to be our November 2023 goals. See, I do need to figure out like how this template works so I can like make the baseline of it something more representative of what I want. Icon. Okay, if October was a jack-o'-lantern, then I think November needs to be maybe just like some leaves. Some nice fall leaves. There we go. Beautiful. And then with October, we can take it down to our monthly goals archive. A little drag and drop. And now it looks so clean. This looks so much cleaner than how it was before. I can click on this and show you. Essentially, like I had a page that just was a page that included my pages of goals past, and now it's going to be this more organized little section. So our November 2023 goals. I think if I've learned anything from being a health and wellness coach, it's that striving for too much too soon is not going to result in the outcomes that you want. So as great as it would be to strive for 2 days of spin per week, every week this month, that's what I've been saying for the past 3 months, and it hasn't worked yet. So we're gonna do 1 spin class per day. No, that's not right. 1 spin class per week. And we're gonna go with that. Okay, so carrying over some other things from last time, I need to figure out the journal situation. There's probably a more eloquent way I can write that, but that's just what it's gonna be. Figure out the journal situation, finish 1 book. We're gonna put that back on there. If I was confident about it before, I'm gonna be confident about it again, because it's not like I haven't touched the book, right? Like in theory, I am much closer to finishing now at the beginning of November than I was at the beginning of October. So I think it's fair enough to say I'll finish 1 book. I need to start Christmas shopping. That's scary. That's a scary thought. I should probably start Christmas shopping, that way I don't overwhelm my bank account, or at least start like thinking about the gifts that I plan to buy people. And that will perhaps be its own Notion page, actually. Let me make that like a sub goal. Create Notion page for gift planning. Not a bad idea. I mean, I do already have it as a notes app, but in the spirit of putting everything in one place, I will put it into a Notion page. I want to make another goal about Etsy again, because both with the holidays coming up and a new year coming up, I think it makes sense for me to kind of work on either my Etsy's, one with like the digital planning tools, the new calendars, people will be on the lookout for them. And then for my like baking gifts shop, the holidays are coming up, and I mean, that's when I sold things last year, was around the holidays. So maybe just like do 1 thing for Mindful Days Etsy, and do 1 thing for Big Shit Happen Etsy. Yeah, I think that will be good. Especially thinking about some of the weekends I have ahead where my boyfriend's gonna be working, I'm gonna have down days to myself. If I like come back to this monthly goals and see this, I'm gonna be like, oh yes, I should do these things. And by all means, if I make anything of value or substance that I think you all would enjoy, I will let you know in a future video to go check it out. I mean, both those Etsy shops do currently exist, they just haven't been updated in a little bit, so I don't know how much you're gonna find there, but feel free to look them up if you like. As usual, my mind goes blank during these videos sometimes. I should probably do a little bit of pre-planning, but that's a problem for another day. So when we come back to the December plan with me, we might have some new goals on there that I thought of after the fact of this video, but in the meantime, we'll keep that as is. So like I said, 2024 goals, we'll get to that in like December or January. We can go to the long-term goals. I think I changed how this looks, or maybe it's still the same. I think it's still the same, but I also just haven't added anything to it. Like I said before, it's very difficult for me to think of goals like long-term. Like my general life goals are to be happy and build a happy life with my partner. So yeah, that's why I think having the 2024, like a yearly annual goal thing will help keep me focused and have things to strive for, which I think will like help my mental health, even though normally I think of like setting goals as something that, like long-term goals, as something that stresses me out. But in reality, I think if I get excited about certain things that I can accomplish in a year, that'll be good for me. Anyway, I want to show you my meal planning page because I'm very excited about this. So this I very much took inspiration and details of from other creators, but then some of it are things that I added myself. So I use this page for brainstorming ideas, creating my weekly meal plan, and also creating my grocery list. It's good to have it all in one place, and I did have it all in one place in my Notes app, and if you're a Notes app user, you could probably imagine how chaotic it looked because it did. Now it's like kind of color-coded. Actually, I think the colors are mostly arbitrary, except for some of them. Anyway, there's colors to it, it's organized. It just looks so much better. You can see different views of it. The meal plan that's up is fully finished for the coming week, so we don't necessarily need to do any changes here, but I can show you what it looks like, and maybe this will be helpful for you if you're trying to figure out how to use Notion for your meal planning. So at the top here, I have drop downs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas. This is like throughout the week because, let me back up. So typically I'll do like my really intentional meal planning and grocery shopping on like every Saturday or Sunday. But throughout the week, I might have ideas of things that I want to make, or especially like considering ingredients that I have left over from something this week. I'll be like, oh, like I have these things, like maybe I want to make this recipe next week, but I'm gonna forget that if I don't write it down. So that's where I'll go and I'll just write these things down. And then after the fact, you know, over the weekend, I thought about other things that I do want to make. I put those ideas here. Then based off of what ingredients I need, I'll consider what those things are, add them to the grocery list at the bottom. When it comes to the meal plan, I am pretty flexible with this. You know, like if I decide to have fried rice on Monday and pasta salad on Tuesday, like I mix it up a little bit, that's fine. But I do like to have kind of a roadmap just in case of like what to fall back on. But I'm very much not a person of like, if I don't stick to this, like the world ends. It's kind of just nice to map it all out. I normally plan my dinners out first and place those in the week because that's really dependent on who's gonna be home to cook, how long the recipe is gonna take. And yeah, those are the two big things. Who's cooking it and what time will it be cooked? Who's gonna be home to do it? And then from there, I kind of build in my lunch just in case I don't know, if I'm having like rice for lunch one day, I don't wanna have rice for dinner on the same day. So I kind of like fit in the lunches around what the dinner was. And then breakfast is a little more chill. I'd say that's the one I don't stick to most often. I'm probably just doing like random things, but for the sake of like having it nice and clean, I put something in there. But yeah, so we have the full weekly meal plan here. And then the table up here is just the same thing in a different view. This is a little chaotic and hard to look at. And I'm trying to figure out if I might want to make like some sort of archive for meals just to like move things in and out of, you know what I mean? Because it'd be good to go back to an archive of things that I had in like weeks past if I need inspiration again. I also at some point want to like link in the different recipes because all the recipes that I find for the most part I save to Pinterest. So if I could like incorporate links into here somewhere, it's still a work in progress, but for the most part it's done and it is what it is. I've been functioning with it for a couple of weeks and it's worked out really, really nicely. So I love this. Okay, so these last 3 pages on here, they look very bland. These are things that I had a Notes app of things I want to buy soon versus things I want to buy later. My summer 2023 New York City bucket list I put on here. I still haven't done an update about that, so I'm not going to go into that. As well as the baking bucket list, this isn't even a page. I still need to make it a page. That part is still on my iPad, I think, so I need to incorporate that here. Let's get into social media. I can show you, I don't think I've ever shown you guys my content planning page. It looks just like everyone else's Notion content planning pages. You can see here I have my videos listed. I have like tags for TikTok and Instagram, but as you know, I don't be getting on TikTok and Instagram too much recently. So I try to upload by Wednesday. Sometimes it's not until Thursday or it's on just like other random ass days. So every single month I try to plan out my videos. So as you can see, I did actually film and post all 3 of these. So I can actually go in and no longer editing this one. I uploaded that one. So she's good to go. As you can see, rest of November I have not planned out yet, and that is on, actually I should add that to my weekly to-do list, is to plan my November content. And then here I have my content ideas. I don't think there's really too much in there, but I do have things for, again, like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and that's just kind of like a brain dump of it all, and if there's anything in there that I actually plan on doing, I'll then move it into the content planning like calendar. The things that we love to look at are the growth tracking. My growth tracking page, for the most part, is the same. The concept of it is the same, but this is technically a new template that I'm using from someone else. And I also have all YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok on the same page rather than like the different tabs that I had them on before. And I also like the different ideas that this new person incorporated. So not just like what the actual counts were, but having your goals here as well, which I normally do have a goal that I put like in my monthly goal thing, but now I can have it here too. And I did not put the revenue tab here. That was already there, but I figured, you know, one day we'll manifest it. So I'm gonna keep it there. But I think the original template only had like the goal, the actual, and then what the increase or decrease, depending on what month you're looking at, is. But I went ahead and added back the watch time hours and lifetime views because that's something I was tracking before, at least for YouTube. So let's go ahead and see what's going on in my YouTube tracking. So for October, I do think, I didn't like pull this back over, but I think I had a goal of 2,700 was my goal after hitting 2,600 YouTube subscribers last time. So as of end of October, my actual subscriber count is 2,668, which is 60 more people than last time. And I mean, hello? Are y'all seeing this? I don't want to talk about it. I'm happy. I'm excited. I don't know what's happening. It's happening, and thank you for being here. Going into my analytics now, we're gonna look for watch time hours, and I go for the past 365 days because that's the metric they used for monetization eventually, but we know I'm not there yet. So I was at 606 in September, and now I'm at 750 for October, so that's a pretty decent jump. Lifetime views obviously is always gonna increase, but now I'm at 228,487. So that's a pretty good jump as well. And so you all get the idea, and I've also gone through Instagram and TikTok and other videos, and I haven't posted anything. I'll go back and fill those in off camera just because it's simply not important right now. And I want to get on with the monthly goal planning. So I set this up exactly the same as my personal monthly goals. And you know, if we go back into the archive, I put all of my old goals in there if I wanted to see them. October 2023 goals, I did not hit 2,700 YouTube subscribers, but that is okay because we are getting like pretty close. So maybe by November. I want to go back and look, how many videos did I post in October? It was at least 3. Did I hit 4? Let's find out. I did. I filmed 4 videos in October. Look at me. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. TikTok, no. Dedicating 2 hours, definitely. I mean, if I filmed and posted 4 videos, I definitely dedicate at least 2 hours, I think, on most weekends to do that. And plan October content. I probably should have been planning November content now that I'm thinking about it, but I obviously did that because I posted the videos. But okay, let's move this into the archive and we can get into November goals. Okay, so we'll bring back the 2,700 subscribers. These are mostly the same. Honestly, I should just copy and paste this. /post 4 videos. I need to plan my November content. I would like to dedicate 2 hours per week. I think in November, I've mentioned this in other videos, but I need to like redo my channel banner and stuff and get rid of all the Potato Princess things. So I'll say update channel, banner, icons, etc. Whatever. All right, well, there you have it. That felt somewhat chaotic. If it was, I apologize, but I was just so excited to show you all the new things, all the new changes with my Notion. Like I said, it's still a work in progress, but I'm very, very grateful that there are other creators who know what they're doing and are willing to share their templates for us to use. So like I said, I will link all the inspiration that I've taken and things that I've used down below. And I'm sure by November, there might be some new updates, some new things to show you. Maybe I will have added a few more features. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about my like habit tracking and whatnot in this video just because it's getting too long, but I'm thinking I'll probably incorporate my habit tracker in there because it's just getting to the point where that makes way more sense to have that all in one place and not on my iPad. I don't know, we'll see what that looks like, we'll play around with it. I know there's so many different templates out there for habit tracking, or maybe I'll make my own, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I will just end on a happy note to say that I am excited for November for so many reasons outside of the weather. I don't know, I think I always talk about my excitement for a season, or not excitement in terms of the weather. That's just my natural go-to. But outside of the weather and things changing, I'm excited to go home and see family. I'm excited to do lots of cooking and baking because something about like cooking and baking in colder weather, it's just like cozy vibes. I'm not a fan of what Thanksgiving stands for, but I still like the idea of gathering with friends and family and sharing meals and sharing good times. So whenever that comes up, I'm excited to be able to cook for the people that I love and spend time with them. And yeah, just to continue to get back into all the things that bring me joy. Definitely, I know I say this every time, but the intention to be more active for the month of November, I think, is definitely there. I got out of my little hole, whatever it was. I'm feeling like I'm getting back where I was. Maybe we can thank the weather for that, because that seems to impact my mood so much, and I'm like getting out of my summertime funk. So if you made it this far, let me know what your big plans are for November, but you're hoping to get out of it. Otherwise, I thank you for joining me on another Plan With Me journey. I know that on this side of YouTube, where my channel lives, it's not always the most organized, it's not always the prettiest thing, but I like to think that we have fun over here. Well, I wish you all a very lovely November. Of course, I will see you here in just another week, but I appreciate you all being